Welcome to the Stronger, Fitter, Happier podcast. I'm your host Vin, and today I'm going to be talking about something that happened to me last week. I share the story about it and I relate it to why you should be thinking about your health and your fitness and everything really in a long-term mindset rather than a short-term one. So if that interests you, then have a listen to the rest of this. Okay, so today I wanted to tell you a little story about something that happened to me last week. So while I was out shopping with my partner, she asked me a question about my childhood. So she asked me, did I ever get Christmas presents growing up? And I said, no, none. The first time I ever got Christmas presents was from you. And that was when I was 16 years old. And then I told her about like birthdays as well. And I said, I didn't really get birthday presents apart from when I was really young. And like, I think probably up until the age of 5 or 6, I didn't really get birthday presents after that, or none that I remember anyway. I used to get money instead on my birthdays. And at Christmas, we didn't celebrate Christmas, so we got nothing. But saying that, at Diwali, we were raised as Hindus, and at Diwali, I did get money from my parents and other family members. So I guess that's similar. But her point was about presents. And she was like, oh, that's a bit sad. And I said, well, not really. Like, because my parents didn't really deprive me of anything. Whenever I needed stuff, I had it. I do remember having toys growing up, just not a hell of a lot. And like, I didn't have a deprived childhood. I still played. I still did things. I enjoyed myself, and whenever we needed things, we got whatever we needed. So she asked about what happened to all the money that we got as kids. And me and my brothers, when I say we. I said, I'm not entirely sure actually. Some of it, I guess, was used towards things that we needed. Some of it was like used towards, like activities we did, I guess. And like probably just whatever my mum needed to use it for was used for. And I don't have any complaints about that. She was like, don't you feel like, I don't know, you should get it? And I said, I don't know, like what my parents decided to do with that money was obviously their choice, even though it was given to us as presents. At that age, I guess is for them to use on us in terms of like however they see fit. Whether that's to use for buying us clothes, whatever it is. And I didn't really feel hurt by it. And then the conversation went away and we left it as that. And then something that happened a few days later that reminded me of that conversation. So I watched a video, or at least listened to a video. And one of the questions in the video, this guy was talking to his daughter, asking questions about, just about raising a child basically. And the daughter was responding. So he's obviously programmed her or taught her to say this stuff back to these questions that he asked. So one of the questions he asked anyway was, what have I done as a parent if I've given you birthday gifts, if I've given you Christmas presents, all these things throughout of your life, but then at 18 you have no money and you have to go out and get a job and ask someone for money. He used beg money as money. Like asking someone for a job, he called it begging for money. But obviously I don't see it like that. It's just the way he was talking to his daughter. His daughter then replied with a message that he's taught her to say, which was, you failed to invest in me financially, or something along those lines. And it got me. I don't agree with what the guy was teaching his daughter, by the way. Like, maybe there's some aspects of what he said this rings true, but anyway, what I did kind of take from it was it kind of reminded me of all the things my parents have done for me as an adult. So even though the birthday money might have been used towards things that we needed growing up and we didn't really kind of get it in a big lump sum, well, actually, this is what I'm going to go on to, is I kind of did get it in a lump sum. So when I went to buy the house I'm sitting in now and to move in with my partner and start a family and stuff like that, my mom and dad did help me out with some money, and so did my aunt. They gave us some money to, well, I say some, it was quite a lot, to put towards this house to help us out and to put us on the property ladder. And that wasn't like, I guess, all the birthday money and things like that, but whatever we didn't kind of get to see in our pockets and spend exactly as we got it, kind of came and turned into something much bigger and much better, I guess. So rather than me as a kid wasting it on things like that I probably would have wanted to buy, like Pokemon cards and shit like that, my mom and dad, I guess, maybe they didn't directly do it on purpose, but when you think about it in the grand scheme, they did invest in my future. They paid for things of me growing up that would help me in the future, and then now like kind of help me with this. And they would probably do the same thing in terms of supporting me now if I asked for it with other things. Not that I would, but my point is that I guess my parents had this investment mindset growing up. And I'm not saying people who buy their kids toys and things like that, because I buy my daughter toys and I buy her presents and a lot more than I guess my parents did at Christmas and things like that. But at the same time, I am like kind of investing in her future in other ways. So what I'm trying to get at is that they had this investment mindset, and I think it's something that is often forgotten nowadays. And I don't mean that as a general blanket statement, and I'm not even talking about finances. I'm more talking about what we kind of directly help you with, and that is like health, fitness, and your body and things like that. And when you look at what I want you to do is like kind of think about your fitness in the same mindset. Rather than looking at it as like a now thing, think about it as like a future thing and a long-term thing. So what I mean by that is like the same way that like you can think of like, rather than using money at the moment and using all of your money at the moment, rather than like kind of putting it away and investing in something so that it kind of has more impact later in life, look at fitness in the same way. Look at like the way you train and the way you eat and that sort of thing is investing in your future. And I think it kind of changes your outlook on fitness as well. So what I mean by that is, as an example, take a goal of someone who's trying to build muscle. So when you're building muscle, what you do have to do is eat a lot of food to grow. And when you do eat a little bit more food than you burn, you do have the risk of kind of gaining a bit of body fat. And a lot of people are put off by this. They don't like the fact that they're gaining a little bit, tiny bits of body fat at the same time while they're investing in creating more a muscular physique. And what you have to have when you're doing that is have a long-term mindset, rather than thinking of now and thinking of like, you know, I want to stay lean and I want to look chiseled all the time. You have to kind of have the mindset of, I'm going to invest in growing my body for, I don't know, 8 months to a year, and I might gain some body fat and I might lose my ab definition and definition all over my body, but I'll be a lot more muscular, so that when I do come to losing body fat, I might look I will look better and I will feel stronger. And whether it's like for athletics or for like just literally aesthetics, you're paying an investment to the future. And the same way with fat loss. Often people look at like trying to lose weight and they're like, oh, I really want that food. Or I really want to eat this now. I want to, I can't be asked to go to the gym right now. And I want to do all these things instead, because they're giving into like cravings of taste buds or like feeling tired at that moment. Whereas what they could look at it is like, if I do this right now, or if I like kind of make a small sacrifice of like eating this type of food and like kind of eating something a bit more that supports my goals, then in 4 weeks or 6 months, depending on how much weight you have to lose or how much body fat you're trying to lose, you can then for the rest of your life be happy with your body and also be in a place where you can afford to eat the food you love, because you've got a lot more calories to eat because you're trying to maintain weight rather than lose weight. And when you have that sort of mindset, it helps you basically achieve what you're trying to achieve, and also create long-term happiness in your life, because your future self is thanking you for all the things that you've done in the past, and you're able to kind of really live a fulfilled life rather than just like kind of always looking at now and getting stuck in that like kind of investing in the future mindset, but you're not actually doing anything. Nothing's coming coming out of what you're doing at the moment because you've got too much of a short-term mindset. And I just thought, those thoughts that I had last week or what happened last week it made me think about all of these things, like just kind of having like a long-term mindset with everything you do rather than just, always thinking in the now. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't live in the present. That's not what this message is about. I definitely think people should kind of live in the now and appreciate everything is there and not always put things off. But what I mean is, when I say think towards the future and have a long-term mindset, is don't try to reap the rewards all like straight away. There's a saying that you don't kind of plant the seed and pick the fruit on the same day. You have to invest in that. You plant the seed, you let the tree grow, and then later, maybe years later, you pick the fruit and you enjoy that fruit. And you have to look at that with everything you do, whether it is financially or with your health or with your fitness. And it makes it a lot easier for you to do that. And you do have to have a certain mindset when you're doing that. It is difficult to do because you're not immediately seeing the rewards. But if you're able to kind of have that mindset, you will one day see the big rewards of all the kind of hard work you've put in. And something I've said on the podcast before is, if you're in a place right now where you're not quite happy with whatever it is in your life that is dictating that unhappiness, whether it's your body, your fitness, your health, your wealth, whatever it is, then you need to think that the past things you've done have led to this moment right now. If then now you continue on the same path in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, whatever it is, even 6 months, you're going to still feel the same because you're making the same mistakes. You're not changing anything. You're not breaking the cycle. So then what you need to do is now look at it as what am I going to do now in the present that will affect the future and how I feel in the future? And that's the kind of mindset I'm talking about. Long-term mindset, not a short-term or a now mindset. And I think I've talked this topic to death now, so I'll leave it there. It is a shorter episode, but I hope it gives you some thoughts and kind of sparks some kind of ideas and things in your head and makes you kind of really think about the actions you're taking with your health and fitness and things like that as well. So I'll leave it there. Please, like always, leave us a review, leave us a comment if you're watching this on a video, and we'd love to hear from you. If there's anything that you want us to talk about on the podcast, if there's anything you want us answering on here, like any questions you have, any topics you want us to discuss, then please drop us an email at podcast@bodybeyond.co.uk, or just simply leave us a review or a comment wherever you're watching this or listening to this. We'll see you next time.